Welcome to Warblog. Today I'm going to look at I can't see it because it's right in front of me. I'm trying to look at I'm pointing now. Okay, I've got to stop pointing at the screen. I'm going to play this game. I have no idea what happened there. It's a really simple game. I got it from this site, which I accidentally saw some other time ago, and it's that. So it's hardly sort of game of the century. But I thought I would, I just love making games, so I thought I'd make it and play it. I don't think I would find it difficult to find one of my 740 games that I feel like playing. But I often feel the need to make a game to consider playing it. Like I'm bored with all the other games. I've got 720 games or whatever, and I'm bored with them all. I need a new one. So here's a new one. And really, there's not a lot of strategy. Now, I racked my brains, and I still didn't get anywhere, about how to really sort of try and implement the concept of all this sort of additional drone and missile things, because I was reading on Southfront today, the Houthis have fired another missile at someone, I think in Marib or somewhere. And it's like, wow, you know, what we're going to do is sort of put a missile in and you can plonk it on a target and see if you hit. You know, it doesn't add to what I call the kinetic what's it thing. So, but we've got some drones, and I just put them in, not for actually any reason. I don't like the image I use because they look like the sort of drones you get from Amazon or something, and I think the drones that they're using are a little more sophisticated than that, but that's what I did when I put drones together first, so that's what we've got. Yeah, so I don't know what the game balance is going to be like, but all you've got to do is make that advanced. Now presumably it's too tight over here. So as I said, it's really simple. So it's a bit tight there. So presumably they see some scope for some gains here. But we've got to make this. So we've got to get these places. And presumably this is an easier route than coming down here, because if you can get there, you threaten their supply, cut the road, and they'll have to retreat. Something like that, maybe. But I don't know what the game balance is like at all in any regard to this at all. So I'm sort of thinking, well, okay, let's just do it. So I'm not going to do any attacks down here. I'm going to leave all this static. We've got this guy in reserve. Now I did think of putting some more units on here, but I wanted to keep it simple, but I'm not sure that it's quite really up to anything. What can we do with this guy? Okay. Okay, so what do we want to do first? Let's put some rockets on this. No effect. That's not what we want to hear from rockets. Okay, drones. Put one on this and one on the next one along. 0.4. Now the 0.4 is always an interesting result, and not necessarily 0.4, but you know, that point something, because it takes the edge off a rounding factor. So can we oust him? Now, the whole balance of what's going on could be affected by this one result, and we push them back. Okay. Do these count? Yes. But none of the others, but this one does. And that's it for the first turn, I think. He's got 2 in there, look. 2 in there. 1 there, and just 1 there. Okay. So, what do Saudi-backed people want to do? Well, they've got some mechanised units, so... And we're going to play the same game here. We're going to leave all this static. We've got these units, so let's bring them up at least 2 hexes so we can start thinking about what we want to do with them. We've got the aircraft, so they can be within range of that, but do we want to attack something along here? Maybe that stack there, or the rockets. So they've only got 1 lot of rockets, so let's try and take out the rockets. I'm never quite happy taking out rockets because they just seem to sort of take forever and no effect. Rockets maybe should be more vulnerable to airstrikes. I'll have to put that in my note of things to consider. Now, we can move 2 more units. So let's put them into position here. So that next turn they can sort of do something. So what have we got here? He's going to sort of stay the same, but he can either recover, but I'm a bit loath to do that really. And here he wants to hold his ground. We've got a spare unit there, and we've got a spare unit there. He could have actually come down and we could have done that attack. The point is, do we want to attack anything? I want to recover that fatigue. So that's that. I feel what we're playing is a mature, considered game in which there won't be any sort of massive explosions. But the decisions that you make are important. Now, the decisions that we sort of made there for the Saudi-backed coalition were to do nothing, which is actually quite a hard decision when you're playing a game, because you don't feel like you're playing a game if you do nothing. I won one of my greatest victories doing nothing years and years ago in a Napoleonics game in France, and I just left all my soldiers in a line and I did nothing. And he said, "You've got to play the game." I said, "No, you're advancing towards me." You know. And he advanced towards me, and I blew him away because I wasn't moving. I just stood on top of this hill, and he got a bit. I think he thought I should come and it's one of those things. Like, it's a spoiler game, you know. It's like I played a role-playing game once, and it was called Call of Cthulhu. I really like Call of Cthulhu, and there was this monster, you know, this sort of thing that had appeared. I said, "There's this thing that's appeared on top of this hill," and he goes, "Really? Sounds dangerous. We've got to go the other way. Let's run away. Let's get a cab and run away." No, I'll go and play the. No, we're not going up there. It sounds dangerous. And he's like, you know, the game doesn't work anymore. So, you know, but anyway, that's not what we're doing here. Doing nothing is like a mature decision, because you don't feel like you're playing the game, but you're going to do the best that you can to win under the circumstances. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of games fail at, this doing nothing aspect, because it doesn't sell games. People don't want to play a game where they do nothing, or when, it's like we used to always have this thing about Axis and Allies when you play the Russians, and the Russians don't do anything. In the first turn they just sit there with all their infantry in whatever part of Russia that Germany wants to attack, doing nothing, and every turn they just buy infantry. They can't do anything. They can't buy aeroplanes, and it was just a big thing. And remember, it's not a very interesting game for the Russians. It's always interesting for the Germans because they get to choose where they want to focus their efforts and what hardware they want to buy, buying submarines and aircraft and bombers and factories and whatever. But the Russians are just sit there buying infantry all the time. Anyway, that's all by the by. Let's just get on with this. So we're now on the second turn. They've tried to attack our rockets. But we've moved this guy out, and I think the focus to some extent wants to be on trying to shift units. Now I want to shift these 2 units. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to make 2 strategic efforts here, and this is sort of what I'm talking about, really, in the sense of the simplicity of it all. I'm going to try and get this together, and I'm going to try and get this together. So this guy's going to be left. So with that in mind, I guess I'm going to move him there. Now I'm going to put him into place, but I'm going to focus my drones on this and my rockets on that, just because my rockets are there and there's no option for putting the rockets onto here. So let's see what I can get my drones to do. So we did a little bit of damage, and he was at half strength. Now this is going to be a litmus test, because if I can't get him out with relative ease with all these units, the other one that only has 3 won't stand a chance. So this is twice as big a battle. We got him out, but I made a mistake. There's only 1 in there. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so based on that, this should be a 2-to-1. Because if they're defending on a 4, and we've got a 16, 2-to-1 and a DR. Right, so getting them out of their defences is the first thing. So we've only got 1 more unit that is going to be difficult about things. And that's it. So, are they going to waste more of that on the rockets, or do we want to try our luck with this irregular unit? Because we can attack that. It might be better to go for that and try and take back our objective. I think I'm going to do that, actually. When they're in there at 4 and then we were 6, I could split them up. Or not. I'm going to go for that because I want to push him off the objective. Nothing. Oh, 2-1. Don't think we're going to do much there, but here we can counter-attack. Possibly. Oh, okay. I feel that the Saudis need a bit more. I thought it was going to be difficult for the Houthis, but it's not. So they've got one, and they're stuck on that. We won't be able to do much with this, though. We can't take that out. But we've got drones, and we've got rockets. We want to move this in the first instance, so everything on the target. Oh, that was good. Okay, so there's lots of smoke plumes. We haven't got as many this time for some reason. We've still got the 4-1, and we push them back. So we can take this unit now. This should be a 7-1. And we destroyed it. And here, let's just make sure this guy gets the message. And let's attack that stack there. Okay. So, Saudi-backed forces, I think I'm going to give them a couple of extra units. Or maybe just another air unit. Right. Is there anything? There's 3 in there, so let's go for that. Okay, let's go for this unit. We can't even beat 1 unit. Because of course every time we get an exchange we lose depressions. And if we can't win here, DR, but that was a 2-1. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave it at that, but I'm actually going to play it again. But I'm going to make some adjustments because I think it's just too easy. I don't think there was any balance, and I think there's scope for it. I think I'm going to give them one more air unit, one more mechanized, and 2 more ground units. See how that works out. So let me pause that. Okay, so I have upgraded the scenario. So there's now 3 of these. There's 2 units there, 2 units there, etc. And they've got the extra air unit. So let's see. Exactly the same sort of strategy. So we've got this unit. Let's just drag him over here. Bringing our line forward. Same opening move there. But we're going to focus everything on this stack here. So he's at 1. He's at 0.8. Put some rockets on them. That's good. Just to bring it a little nearer in the Houthi favour, a little closer to, well, whatever. Increase the Houthi odds. So that's pretty much perfect. Okay, so that's the first turn. So again, very subtle turn of events. We've got 2 of these, so we'll do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1. Come on, 1, 2, 3, 4. And air units. Let's try and take these rockets out. 0.6. 0.8, so it should be 1.4. Okay. Right. Okay, so what else is there? Right, we're going to push back from there, aren't we? So we want to keep them alive. So we're not going to move anything. We're going to try an attrition here. Unsuccessful. Right. And let's do an attrition here, because they're fighting units. Unsuccessful. Okay. So we've got to get rid of that unit anyway. But what do we want to do next? I think we'll go for that one now. Drones. All aborted. So 0.3, 0.26, basically 0.3 and 0.3. So the question here is, do we want to continue with this attack? So they'll be on 4 about, or 8, and we'll be on about 20. So that'll be a 2 to 1. Now the difficulty is, if we linger, we're going to start to get a little more heat from these mechanized units and the air units. We do have to take a chance. He's on the front line, isn't he? So bring him here and here. Bring him here, here, and here. Do we want to do that? I think so, but we're going to do it like this. That gives us an extra 20%. It will probably still be a 2 to 1, but I feel hopeful. I'm going to say ouch, ouch, ouch in advance. I just did it. Ooh, 16, 8, 16, 24. So we basically, that was perfect. We've got the perfect die roll and we've got the DE. And we've got an elimination, didn't we? When it was eliminated, that was quite unprecedented. So we're not going to attack here, but what we are going to do... Oh, no, hang on. We can attack there. So this will be reasonable odds. So push them back. Right. But we're not going to attack there, and we're not going to attack there just yet. So we've ousted 2 defended units so far. Two units from their entrenchments, their little things on top of the hill, so to speak. That's what I didn't put in. I didn't put any anti-tank. I wanted to do that. Right. So now the Saudi-backed forces, they do have a little more scope to do things and play. So now what I think I want to do is I'm going to reinforce this like that. And all of this is going to move here. He's not going to actually engage in this battle, but we're going to use our air power on this rocket unit again. .3, 1.1, pushing you up to 3.8. I'm going to make an adjustment, I think, to make air power twice as effective against against artillery and rockets, because I just think that they are sort of more vulnerable. A, because they're smaller in size, not so much that they're harder to hit, because a bomb only does a certain amount of damage, but when a bomb, usually the bombs hit, so you might be less likely to hit artillery units, but Generally speaking, that's not necessarily the case. If you hit an artillery unit, when you do the damage, you're probably going to knock a lot of it out anyway. If one bomb goes off in the middle of an infantry company, you're only going to lose 10 people. If it goes off in the middle of an artillery company, you're going to lose 25% of the people, something like that. So I'm going to do that adjustment later if I remember. I'm always so tired. I can't believe I'm always so tired. What's this green? Okay. So we've pummeled the rockets, and we're going to attack this. Okay. Oh well. So that's that. Right. Now I want to focus on this one next, really. Well, I think they're getting wind of something. Maybe not the best of moves there. He should have stayed over there. Okay, I've got to put him there. That protects the rockets from a frontal assault. Okay, so air power. The thing is, there is mechanized in there. .2.8, look at that. 0.35. Okay. So the problem is they can't attack that. That stack's too big. He's on his own. So we're going to have to go for him. So we pushed him back. Now we could attack him, but we haven't got the positioning. Okay, this should be again the same sort of thing. This should give us the 3-to-1 odds. Let's see whether that works. And we've got rid of that position as well. Okay, so that's that. Right. Air power on the rockets. That's not what we want to see. Right, what we're going to try and do is break through here. And that is not going to work. Here. Okay, so we pushed him back. Here. We're going to lose our defensive position, but so what? Okay, so we pushed him back. Right, that leaves a small possibility for a counter-attack against these rockets. It's tight, but I'm going to do it. Should be a 3 or 4 to 1. Pushed him back as well. I feel like doing an attack, but everything's used up apart from him. Okay, let's go for it. We're gonna be a little bit adventurous. 3 to 1 and a DE, so that pushed him there, presumably. Or there. Okay, so the Houthis need to protect their rockets, but is there any value in giving up on those? These positions are a little more advanced, but what we need to do, I think, is to use this opportunity in which the Saudi-backed forces have been adventurous but left themselves slightly exposed, i.e. he's still an impossible stack to attack, but we've got this unit and this unit both out on their own, and I think that now is the only opportunity really to try and do some damage. So let's push this like that. There, there, there and there. We're going to bring him to there. I'm doing this so I can get them on that. I don't know why I'm doing this one first. 4-1 DE. Okay. So we have just pummeled their mechanized units. But do we want to recover with the rockets? I think we will, because I don't think we're going to do a huge amount of damage. But what have we got? So they've fallen back into there, making them invincible. Right, let's put our drones on here. Do I want to use those rockets? Right, so we've destroyed a unit. I think we need to use our rockets because they might rout next turn even if we go down to 5.7, and we could rout that unit. And it's the number of units that are going to make a difference. So he's not close enough. So let's move him there. Okay, that was worth it. Put him up to 1.5 and 8.25, but we didn't rout anything. So we can't attack that. So that's that. Right, so the Saudi forces have, you know, it's a real battle. I mean, the line is just sort of so mediocrely normal. I mean, look, there it is there, look. And that's as far as they've got. They haven't got near these red lines, so it's a real battle that sort of seems to be fitting in with the implied dialogue of what should be happening. But it's been quite interesting, but we've got to do some damage, and really we need to take out these rockets. So let's put our air power on them yet again. No damage. Oh, wow. Right. We can't afford to sort of advance through there, but we can do this. DR, so we've driven them back. Now he wants to somehow maybe stack up with this lot. Like that. It's a big stack. 1 depression, 0. So again, we're going to play the mature perspective, not doing anything more. So we've still got that line. We've pushed them back. We're pressuring the rockets. What can the Houthis do now? They haven't lost any drones. As I was saying, I was thinking that's probably what they're going to do this turn. But let's see. So big stack, big stack, big stack, little stack, but not a lot against it. This is the one I want to put the drones on, because we want to try and eliminate that other unit to make that stack then vulnerable, as we've just done there. So we don't necessarily need the other drone on there now. What we could do with is putting it against this, because there's so much in there, I think. Okay. Right. So this stack is still quite powerful, but we can put some rockets against it, I think. Got to use them or lose them. Okay, nothing great, but this is too big, this stack. This is too isolated. We've got 3 over here. I can't leave them too vulnerable from there. So I want to really pound this mechanized unit. That is pounding it. And that's that. So again, super interesting game of just one line, but I think the Houthis are definitely getting the upper hand now. The Saudi-backed forces really need to make this offensive work and maybe go for the rockets, but we do get the added bonus of there being that other unit in there. That was okay. One more like that. Those rockets just seem invincible. We've got to sort of start to reciprocate the losses on the other side. Somewhere. I just don't see that happening. I think we've got to just try and regroup a line and try and make one battle that works. Hopefully they'll retreat the right way. DR. See, that was the best we could do, and it was only a 2-to-1. But that's a big stack. But he's on his own now, so we can possibly continue to pound him. A DE, so that was good. We've got 2 mechanized units. Nope, that's it. Right, so at least we got a DR out of that. The Houthis have no more drones. They've run out of drones. That's interesting. He's going to sit there and recover. So we've got to attack that big stack, medium stack. I mean, they've been sat there so long now that they're entrenched. They're dug in, they're not entrenched, so they're getting there. But that's a big stack. So we really need to pray for miracles for the Houthis. It's difficult for them. Rockets. They're going to have to do an all-out here and hope. See, we don't want to leave that undefended. We do not want an AR. A 7-1. Oh, look at that. I was not expecting that. The thing is, I wasn't expecting to get the multiplier, and we did, so that has basically won the war. It has to. You know, we can even... Well, we can't move anything else. Okay, so they've suffered a catastrophic loss there. Well, we're still going to just try. We've got the rockets at last. Well, we can do this. So we've still got some sort of line there. But they've got a big gap now. But the Houthis really need to actually be able to break up this last stack. They've got no air power. But most units are still fresh, so let's see what they can do here. So now the line has now fallen right back like that. Let's see what the odds will look like. Because there's just not enough depressions in there. So let's do an attrition. See what the odds would be. 1 to 2, but we've got 0.6 against that. And let's go for an attrition down here. Nearly an hour, so okay, so the Houthis are definitely pushing back. Last turn, can the Saudis do something? There's 3 in that stack. So let's attack it. Nothing too exciting, really. Probably better off going for that. Possibly that. Last ditch attack. No. Right. I'm going to leave it at that because there's only a few minutes. But I think the Houthis are going to win because now they'll be able to move in all this here, destroy that, and then there'll be be a case of surrounding that, and obviously they're going to have the irritating effect of the air power, but I think that's so much more of an interesting game from a small game perspective. I quite like that. Played it twice and it's now sort of balanced. It's like one of those pocket games where the scope of what can happen is fairly limited, but because it's quite balanced, I imagine it's balanced, and I like the way that the drones are not a permanent feature. I do want to make the artillery weaker, and I think I might do that now. But yeah, I think that's quite interesting, really. I feel like I just need to go to sleep. Okay, definitely glad I did that. Again, it's another game that sort of didn't exist 2 hours ago. I made it and played it. It's just phenomenal, the genesis of how it works. Obviously, you could play it another way, where you play the full scope of all of this unit, all this stuff, but I tend to sort of not like that, because what would happen is everything would just sort of, I don't know, I imagine things would just, you could play it again actually and play everything and see how it works out, but would you really defend along this road? Everything would fall back against the objectives, really. And I guess the only other thing to say is that the Houthis haven't taken all the objectives. They've only taken one. They're sitting on another, and there's 2 they haven't taken, but they will. Okay, so I'll speak later. Cheerio.